So, this presentation is a brief introduction to how and why we launched the collecting initiative meToo. The Nordic Museum has collected people's personal experience of everyday life since 1920s, and today we are adapting work practices to a social digital world. On the 21st of October 2017, the Nordic Museum made a quick decision to launch an online collecting initiative asking audiences to share their experiences of the viral meToo campaign. This was set up in response to the enormous impact of meToo, especially in Sweden. It was our second collecting initiative where we reached out online in response to a sudden event, engaging audiences to share their stories and photos. The collecting was made through an existing website that was launched in 2016 for collecting stories from everyday life in Sweden. Through social media outreach, the initiative generated almost 200 stories about why women and men were participating in the viral campaign. I can say that we had 2 or 3 contributions from men, the rest was from women. We had good help also from Swedish media who caught onto the initiative, and eventually it also reached an international audience, resulting in the retweet from actress Alyssa Milano, who started the campaign on 15th of October. One major step towards building capacity for collecting stories online from both extraordinary or sudden events and from everyday life has been to build a website just for this purpose. The Nordic Museum has been performing online collecting for 18 years, but always through temporary forms or numerous microsites. So in the quest for a sustainable platform for online collecting, we launched the platform Minnen in 2016, that means memories in English. The website is a collaborative effort between Swedish and Norwegian museums, so there is a Norwegian version of this website. It's open for any museum or cultural institution to use. In general, it's still very much a basic website with an admin interface for building thematic pages or forms for collecting. It's not yet seamlessly integrated with the museum's collections database, but however, it is a solid foundation for long-term collecting of stories, experiences, and media files to be further developed. One of the greatest challenges when launching online collecting initiatives is outreach. How can we invite people to participate and contribute with stories and photos? From what we've seen so far when collecting stories connected to sudden events, it's relevant to communicate through social media, as these are times when people turn to Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. So for meToo, we sponsored a post on Facebook and Instagram and sent out a few tweets using the hashtag. For collecting stories from everyday life, there is a greater need for long-term collaboration with, for example, local communities, and not only rely on social media. When stepping into an online conversation filled with sensitive and personal stories from women sharing difficult experiences, of course, this has to be done with great caution and a humble tone of voice. And initiating online conversation, we had to prepare for comments, answering questions from the audience, support people in using the website. We needed to monitor the social media channels 24/7 for a couple of days. We were also approached by a young woman who wanted to come to the museum and tell her story as one of the organizers of a meToo event. One of the conclusions here is you have to expect the unexpected. Online conversation often leads to unexpected possibilities, and therefore it is important to leave space and time and resources for picking up on interesting online dialogue, for performing perhaps an extended documentation, collecting objects. Maybe you would produce an exhibition or launch program activities in connection to this collecting initiative. Of course, you need to evaluate. One benefit of that is it can be an opportunity to map the complexity of collecting initiatives. Questions to ask are: how does website and infrastructure work? Was outreach successful? Did we perform sustainable conversation? And do we have support for unexpected initiatives? Having performed the collecting initiative meToo, we were already last Friday, when a new viral campaign emerged in Sweden, we were ready. As a comment to recent events, this is really recent, in the Swedish Academy, that some of you might have noticed, I think New York Times caught on this story. One of the The Swedish Academy are the ones that nominate and announce the winner of the Nobel Prize in Literature. Women all over Sweden posted then selfies of them wearing, apparently it's called Pussycat Bow, in support of the female secretary of the Academy that was forced to resign. So this is a story that is connected to meToo in many ways. Through a sponsored post on Facebook and Instagram, we received some 90+ contributions the last week. We asked people to upload their selfies and comment on why they participated in this campaign. With all the pieces in place, a sustainable platform for collecting, knowledge of how to produce successful content in social media, and a readiness to respond to general questions and questions from media, we now have a very personal story. We have personal stories about a public online dialogue. But above all, as this is also online audience engagement and conversation, it can be, again, a starting point for long-term relationships with audiences, and I would love to develop this into collaborative projects. Thank you.